Hello everyone. In this video, we will undergo with the detailed analysis of this autosomal recessive disorder, sickle cell anemia. Here the word anemia is written. Anemia always means that there would be a scarcity of red blood cells in the body, right? Now, the word sickle cell has also been used. Normally, the RBCs, they are biconcave in shape and they are enucleated, means they are not containing any nucleus. Thus, with whatever reserve food they are born up with, they live for only that much period, and over a period of time they have to die because of the depletion of the reserve food in them, and their life is about 90 to 120 days. So in sickle cell anemia, RBCs, in spite of being biconcave in shape, they become sickle shape. A sickle shape is a one which has tapering ends. You can see here the ends here are tapering, and from the central region it is broad. Sometimes strict sickle shape like this may also form, and this shape obliterates or gets blocked in the blood vessels, which is quite injurious for the affected person, right? We will study why this disease happens. So this disease basically happens due to disorder in the chromosome number 11. You know that the first 22 pairs in the human being cell, they are known as autosomes, and the last pair is known as the sex chromosome. So this disease is happening due to the problem in the amino acid at chromosome number 11. Now we will see what exactly happens. You know that DNA is double helical in shape. It has two strands. One strand is 5 to 3 prime, and that is known as the coding strand, whereas the other strand is antiparallel. It is 5 to 3 prime but in the opposite direction. That is why it is known as antiparallel, and this strand is known as the template strand of DNA. Now, RNA always gets synthesized from the template strand, and that is why the polarity of the RNA is 5 to 3 prime. Means by the process of transcription, DNA synthesizes messenger RNA, and this messenger RNA helps in the protein synthesis, and proteins, they actually are the polymers of the amino acid, means they contain numerous units of amino acids. Now, as we have understood transcription and protein synthesis, it will be easy for you to understand now. Now, you know that hemoglobin is a red color pigment in the RBCs, and each hemoglobin molecule, it has 4 polypeptides. You can see here that I have shown them with the help of a line. 2 polypeptides are drawn by black color and 2 are drawn by blue color. Means 2 polypeptides are similar to each other and 2 are similar to each other. Thus, hemoglobin exhibits quaternary structure because the polypeptides are more than 1. This we have studied in detail in grade 11, that a protein can exhibit 3 structures, primary, secondary and tertiary, if it is made up of 1 polypeptide, and if it is made up of more than 1 polypeptide, then it exhibits quaternary structure. So, hemoglobin in our body, it exhibits quaternary structure. Now these chains, they are hemoglobin A chain or hemoglobin B chain. Problem arises in the hemoglobin A chain in the sickle cell anemia. You know that DNA has 2 strands, as I have just told above, that one strand is the coding strand and another strand is the template strand. So this is our template strand, this is our coding strand. Template strand gives rise to the messenger RNA. Now, as per the base pairing rule, Guanine always binds with cytosine, adenine always binds with thymine, and guanine always binds with cytosine. So this is one base sequence which has been given to you. One codon has been given to you. We will discuss in detail about codons and the molecular basis of inheritance. Right now, I just want to tell you how a single change in the base can bring devastating effects. So this is the DNA, double-stranded, and it has given rise to this sequence by transcription. You can see that this messenger RNA is coding for an amino acid, and that is glutamic acid. Prior also there must be a sequence in the DNA, and ahead also there must be a sequence. So that's why amino acids are written here. We are not emphasizing upon them because we have to emphasize upon the changed amino acid, right? So DNA is making messenger RNA, and that messenger RNA is making an amino acid which is glutamic acid. Now see where actually the problem arises. This is the case of a normal human being in which this normal hemoglobin A chain is synthesizes. Now problem arises when this A base, it is changing to T. Now what happens as A is changing to T, that means as per the base pairing rule, this base has to be changed, because as per base pairing rule, A always binds to T and vice versa, and C always binds to G and vice versa. So here T base is there, that means it has to bind with A. Now this DNA, double helical DNA, its template strand will synthesize the messenger RNA. Now as per base pairing rule, C will always bind with G, A will always bind with U, because there is no base like thymine in the messenger RNA. In spite of T, we have uracil in the RNA. So the base sequence C here, from GAG, it has changed to GUG codon. And this change in the codon has changed the amino acid too. Earlier, this GAG codon was coding for glutamic acid. Now, because of the change in the single base, because of the change in single base, what has happened? The amino acid has also been changed. So this is an example of point mutation which comes under the gene mutation, right? This is a type of missense mutation also, because earlier the amino acid was glutamic acid. Now the amino acid has changed to valine. So this is a type of point mutation. It can also come under missense mutation. I will be making a separate video on it. So glutamic acid has been changed by valine. Now what does this valine will do? It will change the forces in the RBC, because of which the biconcave shape will be changed into the spindle shape. This is the molecular biology of the sickle cell anemia. So if a person is affected by sickle cell anemia, his or her genotype will be written like this. Means that individual will be carrying 2 recessive alleles, and then only he or she will be affected, because sickle cell anemia is an example of autosomal recessive disorder. If any individual has to be affected by autosomal recessive disorders, then they must carry 2 recessive alleles. However, if a person is a carrier is a one that will carry 1 normal allele and 1 affected allele. Here, this is the normal allele and this one HBS is the recessive allele. However, if we are talking about a normal human being, then the genotype of a normal human being will be written like HBA. Now, this sickle cell anemia is also an example of pleiotropy, because the carrier individuals that have the genotype of HBA/HBS, they are resistant to malaria. The protozoan Plasmodium that causes the malaria, it does not completes its life cycle in the carriers because of the affected shape of the RBCs. Now, if we talk about the longevity of all the individuals, this is the individual with normal genotype. That means the longevity will not be affected because hemoglobin is normal. So, its oxygen carrying capacity will be normal. The shape of the RBCs will be biconcave. But if the individual is carrier, then that individual will also lead a normal life. But as that individual will go to higher altitude, the oxygen carrying capacity will be affected because that individual is carrying one recessive allele. However, if we are talking about the affected individuals with genotype HBS, that means the longevity of this would be the minimum because their RBCs, they are sickle shaped. Their oxygen carrying capacity will be less. The RBCs, they will continuously die, and when they will die, of course, they will be causing anemia. That is why the name of the disease is sickle cell anemia. So these type of affected individuals, their lifespan is very, very less. Now there are few do's and don'ts while writing the genotype which you need to follow while doing the pedigree chart. Otherwise, these mistakes will lead to the deduction in marks. Now this is the genotype of the carrier. So if in the question they are giving you that the female or the male is heterozygous for sickle cell anemia, or they mention you that an individual is a carrier, please use this genotype. Because that individual is a carrier, that is why we need to take one allele as the normal one and another as the affected one. If in the question they are giving you as the hint that the individual is affected by sickle cell anemia, then you will use both the alleles as defective. Means you will use hemoglobin S, hemoglobin S. Remember, hemoglobin has to be written this way and S will be used as a superscript. Now, because sickle cell anemia is an example of autosomal recessive disorder, means the problem is arising on the autosomes because of the change of one amino acid. Please never ever use sex chromosomes to define the genotype of the individual. Many a times students, they are committing the mistakes. This will be marked as incorrect because it is not a sex-linked disorder. It is an example of autosomal recessive disorder. So, autosomal recessive disorders are written straightforward by giving the name of the defected allele at the top. We are not talking about any sex of the individual. So, if the affected individual is a female, then we will be writing HBS, HBS. If the affected individual is male, then also we will be using the same genotype. If they are talking about carrier, then you have to use one normal allele and one affected allele. So, irrespective of sex, for the carriers, we have to use this genotype. Hope it was helpful in learning the basics of the sickle cell anemia. In next video, we will take a problem on the sickle cell anemia.